Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to another review of Marvel's What If. And this time we'll be talking about episode 5, What If... Zombies? So yeah, let's just jump right into it. So, in this particular episode, it starts at what I believe is the beginning of Infinity War, where Bruce Banner, aka the Hulk, is being transported by the Bifrost to the Sanctum Sanctorum. So he crashes down to the stairs and he says, Thanos is coming. Where's everybody? And so he walks out and New York is empty. There's absolutely nobody on the streets. So you immediately know that something is wrong. So as he is walking down the street, he runs into, I believe, Black Dwarf and Ebony, who are minions of Thanos, and they are telling Bruce Banner to rejoice because their planet has been, is going to be liberated from the extra population, I guess. And as he's making this grand speech, Tony, Doctor Strange, and Wong pop in from a portal, and they start beating up Black Dwarf and Ebony. And so Bruce Banner's like, heck yeah, like look at my boys go. they're getting it. And then you see they're kind of getting a little rough in this fight. They start biting and all this stuff. He's like, okay guys, that's kind of a little far, don't you think? And then they're eating, and he's like, oh, I must have missed something. And then we see that the zombie apocalypse has already started. So Tony, Doctor Strange, and Wong are already out of the picture. Now, in this point in the episode, I did make a note that I said I was surprised at how well they were able to move and fight. It almost seemed like it was more so mind control than being zombies, which later on, that not necessarily far off, I guess. I don't know. But it's rough because I think that the cast that they picked to go through this whole episode, even as they start dwindling away, becoming zombies and things like that, they're not my favorite Avengers or my favorite people necessarily, or at least not from the beginning. And so to start off with these people, especially Bruce Banner, who I'm like, he's one of the most disappointing Avengers to me, only because I really, really love the Incredible Hulk. And I'm not sure what the actor's name that played him, but I really liked his performance. I don't really like Mark Ruffalo's performance as the Hulk so much. He seems kind of like he's fine, but it's not as serious or like on the edge. Like at any point he could get upset and the Hulk will just rip things apart, like kind of thing. Which I guess is kind of not the tone that Marvel is going for anymore, but I don't know. I really like the Incredible Hulk movies. So yeah, I was automatically not super fond of this cast, but it is what it is. But speaking of this cast, let's get into their introductions. So the Wasp thankfully saves Bruce Banner from Tony, Doctor Strange, Wong, and now I think the Black Dwarf and Ebony. Is it Ma Ebony or Ma? I don't know. I'm not usually too great on the Thanos minions, but you know what I'm talking about. She saves them by just sending in her wasps and they just eat them. I'm like, oh, I did not know they could do that and not become zombies. I didn't know they could do it so fast. It's like freaking, what do they call it? There's like a African ant that will eat meat. It was similar to that experience watching that. If anybody's seen like the Indiana Jones, the most recent Indiana Jones movie where they had that ant that just like ate people and just very quickly and viciously disgusting. It was like that, but not as disgusting, pretty much. Why she didn't continue using these wasps for the entire episode, I don't know. I guess they got full. I don't know if she didn't have any more, or if there's only like a certain amount of zombie meat they could eat before they became zombies. No idea. That was a very, I'm not gonna say plot hole, but kind of like a big like, why didn't she just keep using these wasps? So then Spider-Man swings through, picks up Bruce Banner, and shows him this how to survive the zombie apocalypse video. Basically, giving them the rundown, like don't have your skin exposed, ever, and yeah, I think that's pretty much all the stuff that he talked about. He didn't really talk about renewable weapons or anything. It's just like don't have your skin exposed because that's how the virus is transmitted. They also get a little bit of an explanation as to what happened and how the zombie apocalypse got started. Basically, Hank Pym goes to find his wife in the quantum realm and sees that she is like acting a little bit strange, and it turns out that she contracted this like quantum level zombie virus, which is another question in itself as to how that even exists. But she has this quantum level zombie virus, bites Hank Pym, and together they both, with their zombie selves, they take the ship back out and into the regular, the like normal realm, I guess. And the apocalypse starts from there, bites Scott Lang. Hope gets out of there. She does not really, I mean, there's only so much she could have done for Scott, I guess. Other than just like, hey, like turn on your suit, dummy. But yeah, Scott gets taken out fairly early on. Hope gets out of there. And from there, the freaking main Avengers cast, Captain America, Iron Man, Black Widow, Hawkeye. Who else? Black Panther was there, but we don't see him getting bitten necessarily. But all those guys immediately bitten. And from there, the zombie apocalypse spirals from bad to just straight up hopeless. So we're left with, and I made characters. I made a character list. We're left with Kurt, which is a character I'm not familiar with. Bucky, Sharon, the Power Broker Carter, Happy, Okoye, Hope, Spider-Man, and Bruce Banner are stuck in this together. Or at least that's how big the group starts when the episode starts. So a little time passes, and then we get to one of my favorite exchanges when they arrive at this train station because they figured out that there is a signal coming in from Camp Lehigh where they said they have found a cure. So they want to get there. And in order to get there, they need to take a train. That's their easiest mode of transportation at the time. And one of my favorite exchanges, Okoye breaks everybody into two groups at the train station. And Peter says, like, do they not have horror movies in Wakanda? Like, you never split up. And Okoye responds, no, we have American reality TV. Like, I thought that was a pretty clever little jab. It was pretty funny. Yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed it. So then we go to Sharon and Happy are teamed up, and I'm not 100% sure what they're doing. I guess they're just like trying to eliminate any extra zombies that could be lingering in the underground. But Sharon did not do a good job of supporting Happy, which is probably part of her little power broker, like backstabby tendencies showing up there. Because Happy has an arrow go through his shoulder and then just gets dragged off into the darkness. And so Sharon, she's like, oh my, guys, Happy's gone. And that's it. She doesn't like go in there after him or anything. And Happy was given these, or I don't know if he was given them, but he has the Iron Man like hand repulsor things on. And I don't know why they weren't as effective at the time, because he was just going blam, 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 blam. And they worked about as well as what looked to be flashlights. So no birds, no zombies or anything had to be worried about Happy at that point in time. So Happy joins Team Zombie with Hawkeye, who, as soon as you see the arrow, you know Hawkeye's down there. And Okoye has to fight the zombie version of Falcon, who swoops in to the train station, and they have a brawl, and we switch to Peter down there with Kurt and I believe Bruce Banner. We're trying to get the train started, and they need to give it that initial push in order to get it jump started. So he does. I thought it was really cool and kind of funny that he suggested that he do like one of the classic like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man moves of like kind of webbing up this train, and instead of trying to keep it from moving forward, webbing up the train and trying to build up enough tension in these webs to give it the inertia to go. So yeah, I thought that was kind of, I don't know if they meant it to be a reference, or they probably did, but I thought it was cool. Okoye deals with Falcon, and Sharon kind of, I can't remember how she gets away, but she gets away from Happy. I guess she handles, oh, right. So Happy lunges at her, and Sharon takes his hand and like points it back at his face as the repulsor is charging. So when the repulsor goes off, boom, Happy's face gone. And so is Sharon, because she gets on the train with everybody else. And just when you think they have a minute to relax, like Captain America is hanging out at the back of the train car door. So Bucky goes to take care of his friend one last time, and does it with great success. And I can't remember what happened to Sharon. I don't know if she got bitten by Cap. I think she probably did, and she turns into a zombie. So Bucky's handling Cap, and Hope handles Sharon, and she basically just like flies in his mouth, or flies in her mouth, and then just like grows, and Sharon blows up. So after those two zombies are handled, we see that Hope has a scratch on her shoulder. I guess could be from Sharon's teeth, could be from anything. So we know that she doesn't have too much time left because she was infected. As they figure out, because they see like, oh, she has an elevated heart rate, her temperature's gone up, like these are signs that she's been infected with whatever this zombie flu disease illness is. So next thing that happens is they're just traveling down, talking with Hope, like, damn, we wish that you didn't have to go out this way. Hope's like, you guys just go ahead and get rid of me. And Peter's like, no way. Like, we're this close to Camp Lehigh. Like, what if we find a cure? Like, that would just, or I think Okoye says that first, but Peter kind of expands on it. Like, it would be a waste to try and like do something without at least trying to get the cure first. And as they arrive relatively close to Camp Lehigh, the train just comes to a halt, and so they have to try and figure out how to get across this yard full of zombies, like full on Walking Dead. Like there is no way, there's no getting out of this, at least if you're a normal person. Good thing they're not, or at least most of them aren't. I think the only normal dude left actually was Kurt at that point in time. But Hope is like, I'm going to do this one last thing for you guys because I know that my time is running out. And so she grows to this like really huge, ginormous size and takes everybody in the palm of her hand, walks across this yard of zombies and puts them down in Camp Lehigh behind the barbed wire fence. So that was her final sacrifice. And then she just like lays down. And I don't know why, but at first I thought she was going to make like a snow angel out of the zombies, which would have been kind of strange, definitely strange, but she did not do that. She just kind of lays down. It's like, ugh, that's it. I kind of wish, at least if I was there, I would have wished that she kind of shrunk back down to her normal size, so that way they don't have to deal with a giant zombie when she like gets back up. But I guess we did not think that far ahead. So as they're walking into Camp Lehigh, they notice that the zombies are not trying to climb the barrier at all. And they actually see that there's a big hole in the barrier, that the zombies are just standing in front of it. And so they don't really know what's going on. But when they go down into Camp Lehigh, they find Vision. And Vision kind of expands on something that Bruce talked about while they were outside, which is like they respond negatively to some sort of frequency. It turns out it's the frequency of the Mind Stone. They really don't like it. And Vision actually was able to expand on this idea and use it to cure Scott Lang, actually. But unfortunately, it was kind of late in the process for Scott because all that was left of him was just a head in a jar. So, you win some, you lose a lot, I guess. But everyone is really happy to hear this. Is great news. There is a potential cure for the zombie apocalypse. They just need to find a satellite that can produce a signal strong enough to go across the whole Earth to cure everybody of this zombie disease. And Vision's like, yeah, well, there's nothing like that in the world that can do that. Like, humanity has not advanced that far. And Okoye's like, oh, but Wakanda has. So if we go to Wakanda, then we can get this all straightened out. So everybody's kind of celebrating, and Bucky's like, okay, cool, I'm gonna start working on transportation. And Vision's like, I wouldn't do that if I were you, and says it kind of menacingly, so you know, like, oh, this story is not over. So Bucky kind of like breaks down the doors into this back area, which I guess, I don't know, he thought it led to the garage or something, but he's wandering around back there, and he stumbles across a zombie Wanda. And at first, he's just kind of mindlessly shooting at the zombie. But then T'Challa comes out of the shadows. He's like, stop. Like, he'll only make her angry. And T'Challa is missing a leg. It immediately makes you question, like, what happened? Like, what's going on? Why are you here? And Vision's, like, out there. What is this? So as they're walking back, T'Challa's kind of explaining, just as Vision is explaining in the story, kind of what happened. So, Wanda contracted the virus. Vision cannot because he is an android, and Vision could not bear to kill Wanda. So he decided he wanted to keep her alive until he was able to find a cure for her, because using the frequency for the Mind Stone was not going to work on Wanda because her cells were resisting it. So he needed something even stronger. So to keep her alive, to keep her body alive, her cells alive, I don't know. He was slowly feeding her T'Challa. So started with some of that dark meat, thigh, or I guess it was the calf. And just kind of holding Wanda off that way. Why she needed to be fed? Like, I don't know. I don't think zombies die. Well, I've never encountered a zombie, but as far as zombie rules go, most of the time they're just there until somebody kills them or like smashes their brain. So I guess these zombies need to be fed on a regular basis. Oh my gosh, my notes are kind of funny. Okay. So, yeah, they discover that Vision has been slowly feeding Wanda pieces of T'Challa. And for some reason, I guess saying it out loud made him think, oh, that's actually really crazy. Let me not do that anymore. And then his conscience comes back. So then it's like, okay, let's get out of here. So he blasts a hole into the side of the building and like flies everybody out. And as they're flying out, Okoye, so fortunate Okoye, she gets pulled into kind of like Wanda's tractor beam. And the note that I wrote was that, first I was talking about how Wanda likes dark meat and T'Challa was on the menu. And then I put, and apparently Okoye was too. Sad face. Because, yeah, Wanda does not let Okoye go. And T'Challa's like, no, Okoye. She's like, don't worry, just keep going. Wakanda forever. And she gets chopped. Ooh, sad, sad, sad. Yeah, I guess once Vision found his conscience, he really felt bad about the terrible things that he was doing and decided, like, you guys need to carry out this plan without me, because even with my conscience being somewhat restored, I still can't bear to leave her. So he pulls the Mind Stone out of his head, effectively ending his life. And they take the Mind Stone and try to get to the quad jet that was in one of the hangars nearby. And as they're running to the quad jet, Bruce Banner turns around. He's like, you know what? I'll hold everybody off. I'll hold Wanda off. And thankfully, the Hulk protects Banner like from getting bitten in certain areas. So I guess the Hulk's skin is like really, really hard or something. I'm pretty sure it is. And so after Bruce has enough zombies like coming at him, the Hulk finally comes out. And so the Hulk is just slinging people left and right, fighting off Wanda, this and that. And so the only people that end up getting into the quadrant are Peter, Scott Lang, and T'Challa. And they ride off into the sunset towards Wakanda to hopefully save the world from the zombie apocalypse. Oh my gosh, how did I forget that? And then, of course, we had to have a little twist in the end because no what if story can end happily, I guess. So then we cut to what looks to be inside of Wakanda. It might not have been, but it kind of looked like it was where they were going. You can see the Wakandan force field before seeing zombie Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet, and he's only missing the blue stone that goes in the center. I can't remember which one that is. I think it's like the one that goes inside the Tesseract and is also inside of Loki's scepter. I want to call it the Mind Stone, but that's the one that Loki had in his head. Whatever. The blue one. He's only missing that one. And I believe he snaps and then the episode ends. So, my first time watching this, I was not really entertained until we started getting towards the end. We see like, oh, Vision is like holding T'Challa captive, and he would actually go to those things to like even chop off his leg to feed it to Wanda. And then as they're heading to Wakanda, I'm like, okay, let's see if these guys can pull it off. And then the episode ends, and then we see zombie Thanos, and I'm like, it was just getting good. Come on. And I think this is one of the first episodes where I feel like that. There are definitely more. But yeah, I didn't enjoy this episode as much, I guess. I think it probably would have worked better for me if I could have seen how some of the other Avengers would have responded to this zombie apocalypse had they not immediately been taken out. Especially maybe Tony. Like, Tony probably could have thought of something, and it would have been interesting to see like how he would have maneuvered this particular problem. But yeah, like Kurt. Who is Kurt? Like, maybe it's a character that it shows up infrequently, but I don't remember who Kurt is. I feel like Kurt is a new character they just randomly threw in there. Like, I didn't even remember to say that Kurt had died at one point. Like, that's how insignificant Kurt was to me. Happy is cool, but again, will I care if something happens to him? Yeah. Am I gonna be hung up on it? No. Why do we have more characters that we would have cared to watch go through a zombie apocalypse, and have like a connection with? That's just me. I didn't have those connections with those characters. I like the Okoye. I like Bucky. Sharon, I'm kind of going to like, but because of other series, not necessarily because of the Marvel movies. But even then, I'm not too hurt if something happens to Sharon. Peter, of course, I like, but Peter's quirkiness in this, like him always trying to be upbeat, kind of like, yeah, they needed it for the zombie apocalypse, but I don't know. I did not necessarily like it. I'm the kind of person then, like, we need balance. Like, you can't always be super happy and peppy all the time. Like, you gotta be a little bit real, Things are not always great. And I'm not saying you shouldn't be grateful, but things are not always great. And being real about it makes it approachable. Like, okay, we can do something to make this great. Whereas Peter's just like, we're good, we got this, zombie apocalypse, we can do this, here's a zombie guide. And I don't know, that's just how I felt about it. But how did you guys feel about this episode? Did you guys enjoy it? Did you guys not enjoy it? Were there any other Avengers that you wanted to see in this episode? Or any way that you thought that this episode should have gone instead of going down the route that it went? If you can think of that. I don't know. I just think it would be interesting to hear some other like Avengers zombie scenarios. It would be kind of hard, if all of the cast was there. They probably would completely decimate like all of the zombies. Either that, or at least hold them back long enough for somebody to find a cure. They got too many geniuses not to try and find a cure. But yeah, no, I think there's probably a better what if scenario for me out there rather than this episode. But those are just my thoughts. So if you like the video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe, so that way you can get these videos directly into your inbox and take control away from the YouTube algorithm. But yeah, I hope you all have a nice evening or a night. Always enjoy it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.